Hi, this is Marianne, author of Spiral Staircase Lace Socks, and I just want to orient you. Here's our leg, that's our cuff, this is our leg, this is the front, which I marked. The front has been carried on 2 needles while we work the heel flap back and forth. So here's what the heel flap looks on the outside. And you can see the slip stitches that have made nice rows. The knit stitches are smaller and in between. When we slip the first stitch of each row, we got this nice even chain, and that's where we're going to pick up our knit stitches, which is what they mean by pick up in knitting. I also want you to notice how nice and thick this fabric is here. It's a double thickness because of the slip stitches. And finally, here's our heel, which has been turned. I have a couple of little bit bigger stitches there, but by and large that's what it should look like. And you can see how now this is going to go from a tube that way, and we are now turned and going to knit this way. Okay, so the first thing to do is pick up your needle, and now we are just going to pick up through each chain stitch edge there and knit. Okay, now some videos will show you just picking up the back strand. If you do that, you will not have as strong a heel. So we want to go under both strands. Okay, that looks like the last chain stitch. Now you'll see that there's a bit of a gap here between the last stitch on the picked up stitches and the instep. So we're going to do one in the ditch here. That's what they mean kind of informally in the ditch. Now see, that one leaves something of a big hole there, so we don't want that. It's a little bit trial and error. But there's one that's nice and tight, and we'll close that. Next, we want to take the stitches that have been hanging out on the 2 needles and slip them together. This will be our instep on 1 needle. I have a few turned stitches there, so if it looks a little bit different, I'm turning this stitch as I flip it. Okay, there is our instep. Now if you want to, you can move this stitch marker up to the top. Okay, so we have now picked up one side of our heel flap. If you look along there, there's a nice straight edge. If you didn't go through your stitch properly, you will have caught one of these stitches. So now we go and we will work our first row of the lace chart. You should have ended on row 6. Okay, as you see here, the knit one is over the yarn over. That'll help you stay oriented. think I got a little too close to the camera there. Sorry about that. Okay, so once again our knit one stitch is turned, so we'll turn that. You've had plenty of practice to work on this chart. Oh, by the way, when I said I counted 10 repeats, I worked 10, even though the pattern calls for 9. I added 1 because I have enough yarn to do that. So feel free, if you want a longer leg or a shorter leg, to shorten it up by 1 repeat or lengthen it by 1 repeat. Okay, now we've picked up 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 stitches on one side. So we're going to try and make that equal on this side. So once again, we're going to go into the ditch. Oh, let me just show you what a nice tight connection there is now. There's no gap. Okay, that's pretty good. Now we'll do 1. And we'll see how we do here. Now remember, we're going under both strands. And you can kind of see the opening there. You want to pull that so you can see where to go. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. We got lucky on the first try. Okay, once again, we have a nice straight edge here. And it's personal preference, but I like to knit the stitch up right next to the heel. Okay, now there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 heel stitches. And you can opt to keep the heel stitches on one needle and pick up a 5th. Unfortunately, I have lost my 5th, so I knit across, but I'm doing okay dividing the heel these days. So we knit 9 stitches. So we have half the heel stitches and 1 heel flap picked up there on one needle. That is needle 2. Needle 1 is our instep. Now we're going to flip the rest of the heel stitches onto needle 3. Okay, now I want to show you a trick. If I can just hold your attention a little bit longer. I'm going to knit here. And the last heel stitch is this one right here. It's got a little bump on it there. If you lost count, there should be 9. Now you can see where you have your picked up stitches. And rather than go through the front, which you can see opens it up, we're going to go through the back. And see how that closes that? That will not only make it a more attractive seam, so to speak, there, or edge, it will strengthen your heel. So again, what we're doing is we're not going through the front, we're going through the back and knitting. Okay, and you can see what a nice edge this makes here and how tight those stitches are knit there. Okay, so what you'll want to do, and I would do this further, but the video last time turned out way too long, is you'll work across your instep, you'll knit through the back loop again, you'll knit your heel, you'll knit across here, and this means that there's an extra knit row here. I'm fine with that, it works out fine. Some people, before they do their left side of the heel flap, is they'll start their decreases here. They'll knit one and SSK here, and then they'll work their stitches through the back, or however they want to do it. I prefer to just work the entire row through the back, have an extra row here, and then start my decreases. Now, when I do the decreases, I knit one, I slip, slip, knit. That means you're not doing your decrease right on the end of the needle, and you get a little bit tighter decrease. When you do your decrease on the right side, you'll work to the last 3 stitches. You'll knit 2 together, and you'll knit 1. Now, just to show you, here is what the gusset looks like when you're done. These are your decreases. Here's your gusset. Here's your heel flap. The heel flap is not as pretty as a short row heel, but it's strong and will wear well. Once you're done with your decreases, you're pretty home free. You just knit the sole, work the lace pattern on the instep, and then work your toe decreases. I'll show you a tip to keep that toe wedge tight, and then I'll show you how to do the kichener. You can see how that is seamless there. So that will be the next video.